Huddersfield, Dover, Wrexham, Kent, Kent again. She's roaming the country, peeping through your windows, listening at your doors, going through your bins. She could be anywhere, but this week, Jenny Éclair Squats in...
Camberwell. Welcome to Jenny Éclair Squats. I'm Jenny Éclair, and every week me and a load of mates are going around to different houses, opening lots of bottles of wine, getting all tearful and confused. We'll also be looking at the week's news and gossiping feverishly about interesting stuff. But this week we're in Camberwell because this is where I live. This is my house. So before we do anything else, why don't I show you around? This is my kitchen. I haven't got a cooker. I used to have one. I used to have a gas cooker, but my boyfriend kept putting his head in it. I've got a microwave, but I only use it to warm up my pants. To be honest, I'm not very good at housework. I've got a little woman comes in once a week to eat up all my biscuits. That's my garden. I only go out there to fart. Cupboard. Don't know where that came from. He must have put it up when I was asleep. Oh, hate it when they do that. And this is our Phoebe's bedroom. To be honest, I'm a bit worried about her. She just wants to be a normal kid. I might have to swap her for one of Paula's. See, I wanted to paint it all black, but she insisted on the pink. Oh, she's spoilt. She's spoilt. She's completely ruined. That's because I've cut her fringe really badly. And this is my study. That's my computer. Never switch it on. Hopeless at that sort of thing. I thought CD-ROM was a country and western singer. I did. And this is our bedroom. You don't want to go in there. Well, there it is. That's my house. Any offers over 170 grand, I'll snatch your arm off. And this is my sitting room. And these are my friends this week. I'm going to introduce them. Ex-beatnik and Porsche-driving professional wine slurper, Oz Clarke. Oz narrowly avoided being an opera singer and instead swiped the best job on telly, boozing for a living. Hats off to you, Mr. Clarke. Oz, why Oz? What's it short for?
It's short for Aussie. I mean, my name's Owen, actually, but it's just because when I was a kid, I went to a choir school, and we used to go out playing cricket against all the local schools in our sort of cassocks and our surplices, and they used to beat the life out of us. I mean, bowled straight up the head, and we would be 20 for 5, and 3 of the members of the team in the critical condition in the local hospital.
Well, that'll teach you for playing cricket in a dress. Over here, Quiff Boy and 50% of TV Fist of Funsters, Lee and Herring, the mighty Stewart Lee. Stu is a stand-up comic, university graduate and muso. He subsidises his thing for backstreet second-hand record dealers by writing for the Sunday Times. He also has a remarkable set of cheekbones, right, Stu?
It's Jen.
Have you bought any stupid records this week?
Yeah, I've bought loads of stupid records this week. Well, in fact, can we talk through the ads? That adds genuine atmosphere,
That's my
doesn't
boyfriend
it?
leaving home on his Vespa again.
Well, you know, I've been off around the world lately because I went to Montreal and LA to talk with Americans about becoming a sitcom star. Are you jealous? Yes.
Yes, I am.
And of course, what I did...
puking with jealousy.
I just spent most of the advance on things that I could only buy in America and came back...
So what actual record have you bought this week?
I can't remember. I haven't bought the Spice Girls, Jen.
Do you know what the record of the week is, actually?
No,
it's
what
not
is
the
it?
Spice Girls.
What?
It's this Spanish bloke called Jose who managed to crack 97 walnuts between his buttocks.
Really?
I don't know whether he ate them afterwards.
Is that out as a record?
It is a record. It's
Really?
a world record, 97 walnuts. You couldn't do it.
No.
Anyway, very chuffed to have champ supermodel, poet and grub writer Sophie Dahl on my sofa. Sophie is this week's pedigree chum. It's not because she's got 2 puppies down her front. It's not that. No, what's fascinating about you, not only a gorgeous bird, but you also have 2 famous grandfathers. One was Scary Gramps, Roald Dahl.
Sounds like the Spice Girls.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That was my joke. Oh. One was Scary Gramps, Roald Dahl, and the other one was Funny Gramps, Stanley Holloway, who was a kind of working-class northern comic.
Yeah.
Which one did you like best?
Well, one of them was dead.
Oh, it's no fun.
When I was 3, so no. That was Stanley
Holloway.
Is dead, yes.
Yeah.
And
what about Scary Roald?
He was amazing.
But his stories, I mean, my little girl, I mean, she reads the Roald Dahl book and then hides under the bed for about a week because they are. Did you ever sit on his knee and then say, "Tell me a story," and they go, "No, I don't want it."
No, he one night told me and my best friend a story, and then we went to sleep, and he got a ladder, put it up to the window, and climbed in through the bedroom window while blowing through a trumpet. And I've never recovered.
That's the tittle-tattle over and done with. What's the big news this week? Well, it's been mad here in London. You can't get on the bus for skinny birds, stinking of sushi and silk cut. That's right, town's been overrun with supermodels, so you can't get a packet of X-Lax for love nor money. And that can mean only one thing, London Fashion Week. Sophie, you were involved. Was it a laugh?
Yeah, it was. It was. I did 3 shows, and the first one I was put in a rather fetching rubber corset.
Did we see photos?
Well, we did, and it's caused a few problems.
Did it make you cry?
Well, they were a bit mean. They were
Why?
a bit mean about me.
They were a little bit
really mean about
They
me.
weren't taken from the best angle, were they?
No, and the Who, frankly, does look good in a rubber corset.
But do you not think some of the designers are taking the piss? They're just getting madder and madder and madder. Did you go to the Alexander McQueen show?
No, I didn't, because he hadn't asked me to be in it.
So you just, not going.
go.
Well, this is Alexander McQueen. I don't know whether... Can you just get a close-up of this? Guess which one's the designer? The designer is the one wearing the comfortable clothes. And he's obviously not gone for that heroin chic look, has he? No, he's gone for the lager and kebab chic. That's what Alexander's done.
It looks like a fat Oz Clarke, that bloke, doesn't he?
Last year, he sent the women down the catwalk wearing these sort of trapeze things, and they just had to stagger down like this and look a right mess. But this year, he sent them down in the pouring rain. I mean, that must have cost a fortune taking the roof off the venue. But no, it wasn't real rain, it was sort of artificial rain. And what he's managed to do here is he's managed to get a meeting of high fashion and a wet T-shirt competition.
It's good, it's
Let's
cool.
have a look.
Yeah.
But he's got a contender to the crown of sort of, you know, Mr. Wacky Designer. There's this new lad on the block, and he's called Andrew Grove. And I don't know if you saw this, but he sent this girl down the catwalk, right? She had a white jacket on, and all of a sudden she opened it up, and loads of flies came out. I think I've got a pair of knickers by that bloke. Everyone's favourite middle-aged punk rocker, Vivienne Westwood, returned this year with a farmyard look, all very Little Bo Peep, you know, shepherdess look, just the thing for us girls who want to dress up and stand on the mantelpiece. And somehow, inexplicably, mixed up in this 18th century pastoral idyll comes Melinda Messenger, bouncing down the catwalk, right? Looking like something out of an early 80s package holiday. She does, doesn't she? Do you not think she looks a bit...
Club
like,
Med.
Yeah, it's very Club Med. It's also a bit like something out of a Tracy Ullman video, 1981.
Yeah.
And the thing about Melinda, I've got nothing against Melinda at all.
Well, you clearly have.
I haven't. I think she's a fine...
Got great knockers.
And great set of teeth. And but the thing about Melinda Messenger is she is a page 3 girl, and she's not a supermodel, because supermodels walk differently, don't they? They are sort of trained. This is the supermodel stance, right? I'll attempt it. And what they do, it's like, it's hips out like that. Am I right, Sophie? It's that, hips out, tits back, like that, all sort of sulky and sour. And page 3 girls, they are trained to do it that way, aren't they? It's bum out, tits out, and she has to smile, does Melinda, because her bosoms pull down her bottom lip. That's why she smiles all the time. But, you see, sulking is what you have to do. You know, you are the only person here tonight equipped to do proper sulking. You can.
Why?
Can you do a sulk? Can you do a sulky model face?
Stand up, lean against the wall, and look really mean.
Against one of your walls?
Yeah. I think it's really impressive.
I could do that.
Because
I
if
could be a
I
model.
sulk... Can you do it, Oz?
Yeah, can you do a modelly face?
Oz Clarke's just tasted
I go cross-eyed.
some bad wine.
Yeah, all, that's...
Yeah, imagine that. You just taste some really bad wine.
Sulk.
Yeah,
It's
go.
not... I don't know. Do I have to stand up for this? I've been on the juice for the last couple of hours. I may be able to.
Try and stand.
I mean, how would you sulk? I suppose...
That's good. We're quite
Is that
impressed by
sulk?
that.
That's
Because
not
I can't-
sulking,
Yeah,
that's
like
waiting for a bus that hasn't
That's
come.
what I thought.
Yeah, you don't look quite cross
Well,
now.
that's about as low as I go normally.
I
must have a
can't
good
do
life.
cross. I really can't, because if I do, I just look like a sort of constipated
Let's see.
hamster.
I get animated. If I get cross, I get incredibly animated.
Oh, well,
What's the
People all
most
leave the
cross you've ever been then, Oz?
Oh, well, normally I can't remember because I only get cross if I've been down the pub for about 5 hours. My football team's lost, which is about every 6 days.
Yeah.
And then you get very cross, but the next morning you just think, where am I? Why
Do you
am I
bite
here?
dogs? Do you get cross enough to bite a dog?
I haven't been a dog yet, but I
you
have.
might.
I've bitten things.
What things have you bitten?
I've bitten wood once or twice.
You've bitten wood?
I haven't bitten pillows, I've bitten wood.
Moving on. Do you have to spend money to look good? Stuart, you obviously don't think so.
No, sorry about that. No, I'm not really... I feel like outshone tonight because
yes, you have
Sophie
been.
obviously looks great and you do the best with limited resources, don't you?
I do the best with the raw stuff.
Oz looks like sort of Patrick McGowan in The Prisoner in the late 60s. And I feel like some kind of
Where I
idiot.
live.
But, you know,
No.
I'll be
you're
able
not
to
the
get
only
home
one. You're not on your own. Oxfam don't think you have to spend money. You know Oxfam, that chain of charity shops? Well, they've got a new advert out on the telly this week, and we've got a copy. Have a look and see what you think.
I love it when someone comes up to you and says, darling, where did you get that dress? And I say, Oxfam, 40 quid.
Well, of course, they got all that stuff from the Milan branch of Oxfam. I, in fact, sent Emma Marie, 2 young, poor, thin girls that I know, to a charity shop with 40 quid each, and they're here to model the pickings. Come on, girls, come on in, let's have a look at you.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to sit on your knee, give these girls some room. Now, Emma and Marie, tell us what you got.
Well, I read that the nighty look was in, so
Yeah.
I went for this number, and it's a marvellous thing because I can wear it to bed, and if I'm feeling lazy the next day, I can just keep wearing it.
You can wear it all week. Did you get the badge as well?
Yep, that was 25 pence, and this was bought for the comely price of £5.95, Jenny.
Oh, that's a bargain, isn't it?
Marvellous.
So you got lots of change. What did you spend the rest of the money on?
Booze.
Did you? Well done. But what about this comely jumper?
This, I think, originally it didn't have the jaws on and somebody's put it on, but it wasn't me. I'd like to be that talented, but it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really nice. What about the hair accessories?
All bought from Oxfam.
And not only did you buy clothes,
Our
you
star by.
Lenny Henry's stand-up comic game for 2 to 6 players. Well, there's how many of us all stay back after the show, hey, and we'll have a quick round of Lenny Henry's stand-up comedy game. Thanks, girls. We'll be seeing you again. Off you pop.
Bye.
With your spoils.
Thank you.
We'll actually be seeing Emma Marie later on the series because we're going to go and do a show from their house. They're writers, they do the Ant and Dec show, and I could tell you something else about them, but I won't now. Anyway, Sophie, you've told me that you do wear second-hand clothes. I went through a phase when I was much younger of wearing sort of dead ladies' clothes, but I got a bit sick of smelling a sort of embrocation. Anyway, we've got to go now. We'll be back after the adverts talking about booze, pop music and pudding. Welcome back. Well, we've done the fashion, we've done Oz Clarke biting things. Later on, we'll do Oasis, but first on Jenny Éclair Squats. We are in the middle of party political conference season. Labour left Brighton this morning, Conservatives arrive in Blackpool next week. We can't avoid it. Let's try and be grown up and sensible. Let's talk politics. Sophie, politicians, who would you shag?
Who would I shag?
Yeah. Go on.
Does it have to be shagging?
No, who do you fancy
Or
then?
die.
Tony Banks.
You fancy Tony
I
Banks, do
really
you?
fancy Tony Banks.
Well, he's just such a tiny little thing. You could probably pick him up,
He's
put him under your arm,
delicious.
run away with him.
I tried to. I met him the other day.
But he is happily married with children.
Exactly.
So you resisted
I
all
did.
temptation.
I did.
I don't find Tony Blair personally attractive at all, but he must be a great shag because that Sherry, she always looks exhausted, doesn't she? So he must be really at
She
it
always
all
looks
night
a bit
long.
manic.
Yeah, she always looks like she'd rather be anywhere else, doesn't she? She looks like she'd be rather at home cleaning out the fridge.
She always looks like she's trying to eat a whole Twix sideways. You know when you put it in your mouth and you try and like stretch your mouth really wide so you can get it.
I haven't done that.
No. Oh, just
Sorry.
me then. And you know, and like that, her mouth looks like she's trying to make it as longer than it is for some reason. I don't know why. That
I
would
think
be.
it just looks to me like anguish, basically. But you mentioned Tony Banks earlier, and he's in a sort of middle of this storm, isn't he? Because he called Haig a fetus, which is pretty insulting to fetuses.
Good for him.
No, I don't think Haig is a fetus, but I think he is a child. And you know they're in Blackpool next week. I can't see the Conservatives in Blackpool. It doesn't work for me. But obviously they're going to have to go to the pleasure beach, aren't they? But William Hague is not going to be allowed on anything, is he?
It conjures that horrible images.
He
doesn't
looks
it?
like such a little boy, you know. Everybody else will be on that big Pepsi challenge thing, you know, the big roller coaster. And he'll have to go on the little baby spinning
Oh,
teacups,
yuck.
both going round
Haig
and
isn't
round.
like a fetus because, like, most of the British public would recognise a fetus if they saw one. Whereas, like, William Hague was to be confused by the whole
I
image.
think he looks like an alien.
But the other thing this week, of course, is, you know, like Haig's going to Blackpool and he's going to sleep with his Welsh girlfriend, Fionn. Fionn. Do you think that he should be allowed to sleep with his girlfriend, Fionn?
Do I think that William Hague should be allowed to sleep with his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously.
They're
It's
not
a crime,
married,
is it?
Stu.
Oh dear, never mind.
Do you think they-
positively encouraged?
Yeah.
I went off both of them when I saw the pictures of them at Notting Hill Carnival with matching shirts and matching whistles.
Yeah, and a big melon
Yeah,
they were eating.
it
So
was
it's like
not
they were.
good.
It's like they were trying to go. Look, we're at Notting Hill eating melons. We're like
We're so
normal
bohemian.
people. I know, it was terrible.
Well, I think on this William Hague and Fionn thing, I don't think that they should sleep together because I don't think anybody should sleep with the Welsh. Not unless they're really pissed. And talking about booze...
I'm not sure if I can continue to be in this programme. now.
Yes, you can. Stay here on the
I don't
sofa,
think
Stu.
so.
You're my friend.
All right, okay.
Pass me these bottles of wine, my very funny bottles of wine. This one here, this is going to put you out of a job, in fact, Oz, because this is a new range from Tesco. And as you see here on the label, it just tells you what it is. Yeah. It's great with steak. Do you want to have a swig of that, see what you think?
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's probably asking you to taste wine, but this time I want you to drink it, knock it back in one. There goes the boy.
It's actually quite good, that. Great with steak. I couldn't tell whether it's great with steak or not.
Well, let's have a go at this one.
What's that great with?
This one, Sophie. Oh no, this one's no. Stu can have this one. It says fat bastard. That's for you.
You notice she doesn't provide glasses to do this with.
No,
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry. Listen,
No. Oh, he's finished his.
This is.
I'll have some. I'll have
Yeah,
some.
go on. You have some of
Are
that.
we allowed to say bastard at 8 o'clock on Channel 5?
If
If you
it's,
pronounce it with a northern accent, you can.
you can
right.
say fat
Welsh
bastard.
accent.
Right.
Welsh accent would be nice.
Fine.
So do you want to share this?
Yeah.
It is a fat bastard. That's the John Prescott of wines. That is.
We love
Kenneth
it.
Clarke.
I like it. I like that. Another one. This one's my favourite actually. This one's called Nat's Piss. And
Do you want to mix it with this
Presumably
then?
you don't buy that at Tesco.
not just any old Nat's Piss. This is your finest Nat's Piss. I'm going to have a swig. We have really run out of glasses.
There you are. There you are.
Uh-huh.
There you are.
Hang on,
Nat's
right.
bits in a paper cup.
I'm stylish. Soph. And then on to Oz.
I can see it's all going to pile up here. All these glasses are going to pile up with me, aren't they?
It's fizzy.
Oz Clarke drinks 300 wines a day, he was saying earlier on.
300 a day.
Oh,
That's
really?
why I wear black, so that every time I spill something, no one notices.
Seriously, do you think the labels will move on? Do you think eventually we'll get labels that say things like, you know, good for drinking when you're depressed and lonely? That's what they'll
That's the
do.
new
For
irony.
drinking when
More
people
likely, you just
trash
put red wine, $2.99. That's what probably end up with.
Yeah.
Oh, Sophie just said really sadly then, wine for drinking when the papers trash you.
She whispered in a
That's
melancholy
it.
tone.
You drink that out of the bottle, so wine
Straight
for
up.
drinking when the paper's
Haven't you got a bigger bottle
That's the
there?
fat bastard one. I'm not
sorry.
drinking that one. Get it away
Of course,
from
in
me.
offence.
Sophie, are you a
Accidentally.
drinking girl?
Fine.
Are you a drinking girl?
Yes.
Okay, oh, but not when you're working, obviously.
No, of course not.
Because you can't get down the catwalk
No,
and
no,
go like
no.
that.
Can't stumble down. I like vodka.
You're a vodka girl.
No,
I've got a
vodka-
bottle in the fridge,
vodka
don't
girl,
worry.
cool.
Moving on, before Stewart gets completely inebriated here, I've started to slur a bit now, haven't I? I sent you on a mission. You've been to see a photographic exhibition. Tell us all about it.
Oh yeah, I went to see the Oasis photos exhibition at the Roundhouse in Camden.
Have you got a brochure or
I've
anything
got a
like
brochure.
that?
It was good. The best thing about it actually was going in the Roundhouse, which is a really beautiful building. But then it's a bit odd. I mean, a set of photos of Oasis is strange because, I mean, you know, as anyone who's seen them knows, they just look like normal blokes, really. So what these are like a set of photographs of normal blokes, except that because they're really famous, they're interesting. The good thing about this was, like, everyone knows what Noel and Liam Gallagher look like, but when you go around the exhibition, you can have a lot of fun looking at the faces of the other Oasis blokes who you never pay attention to. And obviously Jill Fomanowski, the photographer, was interested in that as well, because she took some photos of Bonehead, who's the
Is he in
guitarist.
Oasis?
He's called Bonehead, that's his name. Because he's
I think
got a bald
in
head.
Mancunian it's Bonehead.
That's right, whatever, you know. And when she describes photos of him, this is the actual text she wrote about Bonehead, she says, "He must have one of the most comical faces I've ever seen on a human being. It's a
Other than
very
William
expressive face. He can express many emotions. Baffled is one of his looks. Puzzled, a man of emotions. He's like, he's got two emotions, baffled and puzzled. And
Baffled
also,
and puzzled are the same.
I know, yeah, but she sounds like she's describing a dog. You know, when you say, oh, he's almost human, it's almost as if he can understand what we're saying. It's like she has such a low opinion of Bonehead. She's like surprised that he can communicate at all. And there's actually a hologram of him, which is very frightening if you go in there.
Bonehead?
A 3D hologram of him looking at you, but it's all right.
Is he looking baffled or puzzled? In
It's a
hologram?
kind of mixture of both. That's his third emotion. It's baffled Baffled puzzlement.
But
yeah.
they are sort of, these are the pop icons of 1997.
Definitely.
And it's a bit sad, really, because they are sort of just these sort of anorak-wearing northern lads.
They're terribly dressed.
Yeah, and sort of in my day, you know, men pop stars weren't afraid of wearing makeup, and that's when I think back to sort of my pop icons. I mean, the first time I saw David Bowie on Top of the Pops, that was fantastic, only beaten by the first time I ever saw Debbie Harry on Top of the Pops, and I was just that was the woman I wanted to be. I was from then on Debbie Harry in my head. What about you, Sophie? Is there anybody that you can think of sort of going back, like switching on telly or a poster or anything that sums up?
I loved Madonna. When I was little, I thought Madonna was
When I was
really,
little.
really cool.
When I was little, I liked Madonna. God, you are young, aren't you? Stu, what about you?
What did I want to look like?
Yeah, who did you want to be?
Well, when I was about 15, I wanted to look like the Fall, which meant wearing a cardigan. But it was very easy to do back in those days.
The Fall.
The Fall, you bloody 12-year-old.
Okay.
Oz, you've heard of The Fall, haven't you?
No.
Oh, sorry, I've accidentally elevated the programme to the status of an arts programme. You know The Fall. But actually, I brought along a load of
What's their name?
bizarre rock icon images that I thought you might be interested in, Jen, because they involve gratuitous nudity.
Oh, we like
this.
gratuitous nudity.
That was the 60s, you see. People
Dancing nudely
dancing
in
naked.
a circle.
Or that's
Sitting in a Perspex box.
rather like
naked.
one of the rooms in your house, that upstairs there. And of course, the Classics Hendrix album there of gratuitous nudity, which we see brilliantly parodied here from the mid-80s by Onion Head, featuring a load of nubile young men.
Of course, the very well-known Onion Head.
They satirised them there. They got them there, didn't they? And this one I thought you'd like, Jen. The classic Fugazi cross punk album.
Has he been sick?
What do you think's going on there?
That's really horrid.
What do you think it is on that man's face?
If it's not sick, it's something even worse, and I'm not going to go into it because it is pre-watershed. But listen, we've got some wine. We've been talking about Oasis, and the great thing about Oasis records is that you can have an Arctic roll with it. Do you get it? Arctic roll with it. No, this is serious, right? Because this much-loved pud is under threat. Trouble with the Arctic roll is that it's only a bi-textured pudding, and as we reach the millennium, the modern dessert has become a 3 or even 4 taste sensation, and the humble Arctic roll can't compete. There is, of course, the campaign to save it. The tabloids are on the case, you know, Leo Sayer, Tinky Winky, and now the Arctic roll. Can you believe it? This is on its way out. Oz, do tuck in some Arctic roll and then tell us which wine we should be drinking with it.
This is my first ever Arctic roll. I mean, we didn't have television at home, we didn't have refrigerators, things like that. I was brought up in a very austere kind of way. I've never had Arctic roll before.
I'm not even going to ask you to share that.
I brought some wine for this as well.
Oz grew up in an Amish community where they didn't have that.
Yeah, that's where all my hair went.
Sophie, would you like?
Arctic roll rocks. I used to have Arctic roll.
Do you reckon they'll make
you?
a wine called Great with an Arctic Roll at some stage now? Back in
They
the
should.
Make an album.
You need a knife for
You're
this
actually right.
Arctic
There
roll.
are different ways, of course, you can
There
eat
is
the
not a
Arctic
third
roll.
taste sensation in this.
No, there's only 2.
I mean, I think there's only
Simple
1,
two.
actually.
Stu.
I don't. I'm trying to give them up because you know what it's like in showbiz. Arctic rolls every night. People smearing them over each other's faces. I'm glad the Arctic roll is going to be smashed to bits and forgotten.
Do you know, I rue the day I bought this bloody Arctic roll. I now have to say goodnight. I would like to thank my guests. I don't see why I should. No, I would like to thank very, very much Oz Clarke, Sophie Dahl and Stewart Lee. Would you like to join us next week? We'll be coming from Giant Street Porter's house, unless she's in.